Good morning, SDA seniors and elites. Welcome back to another week of online learning. So this week, what we've decided is instead of me talking at you at a video, what we're going to try and do is we're going to display as much information as we can onto a PowerPoint, and I'll talk you through it. And let's see if there's a bit of improvement and see if this is a lot better for you guys to understand. So firstly, what we're going to do is we've got a recap, okay? Then what we'll have is we'll have the 3 questions of the week, same as last week, okay? So our 3 questions will be, what is the gas principle? What is the difference between bilateral and unilateral training? And then what is the difference between maximal and sub-maximal training? And at the end, I'll say what is required from you guys for next week, like homework. So quick recap. Last week's questions were, what is volume? So volume was just the amount of sets and repetitions completed for an exercise in the program. Okay. How do we categorize our exercises? We went from our primary exercise to our secondary to our auxiliary exercise. Then what we had is we had our most to our least demanding, or our most to our least important. Okay. And then what is the force velocity curve? We just established that it was a relationship between force and velocity. Okay. So for this week, our first question is, what is the gas principle? Okay. So gas just means the general adaptation syndrome. Now, general adaptation syndrome, we have 3 stages. So when we do exercises, okay, or a program or a session within the program, our body goes through these 3 stages. Okay, so it has the alarm stage. So the alarm stage is the body's fight or flight response, so the adrenaline, right? Okay. Then from there, we go to our resistance phase, where the body is just trying to return to normal after the alarm phase, okay, which is called homeostasis. Then we've got the exhaustion phase, or the exhaustion stage, where the body is starting to experience a lot of fatigue and a lot of exhaustion. So if you look at the graph quickly, each stage is represented, okay, and then that line there, our baseline, is called homeostasis. So homeostasis is just where the body is returning to normal, okay. So you have an initial spike at the hormone, okay, where it goes down, so you go underneath homeostasis, okay. Then what we're going to be doing is the body is just trying to push really hard to get back to normal, but it actually goes past normal, okay. And that's where the changes really start to happen, is in that resistance phase, okay. And then slowly but surely we're going back to homeostasis, and we get back to our exhaustion. Okay, once we've hit exhaustion, we're going underneath homeostasis again. Okay, so the idea is the body is always just trying to achieve homeostasis throughout our training. Okay, our next question is, what is the difference between bilateral and unilateral training? So, bilateral training, using both limbs when performing an exercise. So whether it's your upper body, both your arms are working, or whether it's lower body, both your legs will be working. Okay. Then obviously unilateral training is the complete opposite. So where we conducting an exercise or performing an exercise, we're only using a single limb. So if you look at the pictures, what we've got is we've got we've got the same exercise. We've got a deadlift. Okay, so we're going from a bilateral deadlift, so using both our legs throughout the movement, to a single leg deadlift. Okay, so that's just the difference right there. Last question for today is, what is the difference between maximal and sub-maximal training? So when you're looking at maximal training, normally we're going to look at working at 90+% of what you're capable of when you're performing a training plan or an exercise. Okay, so if you're squatting and you're trying to do maximal training, you're actually looking for that 1 rep max, right? You're looking for your repetition max, or you're working within that 90% range of how much weight you can actually lift. Okay, and then if we're looking at sub-max training, okay, sub-maximal training, we're looking at, normally we work at 75 to 90% of what we're capable of when we're performing our training plan or our exercise. So we still need to have that feeling of, I've still got some energy, I've got that feeling of I've got some left in the tank to perform more exercises. Okay, where maximal training, if I performed 1 or 2 exercises or repetitions, I would have absolutely nothing left in the tank. That would be the end of it. So very similar as when we look at our graph that's displayed, as you can see, force, okay, look how high the force goes when you're performing a maximal load, okay, maximal training. Trying to exert as much force as you possibly can within a short space of time. Now, when we've got longer time, normally we try and spread out the amount of force we need to produce, okay, so we can work out for a longer period of time. This is where the sub-maximal training comes in. So we're performing at, say, 75%, and we're able to do it for a longer period of time. So for next week, what is required from you guys? What I want you guys to do is I want you to find examples of maximal training and sub-max training, okay? These can be, you can have 1 example, you can have 10 examples. Just want you to find an example, at least one, of each sub-maximal and maximal training. Then what I want you guys to do is I want you to find 3 bilateral and 3 unilateral exercises. Okay. Then for the practical sessions, I want you to complete the session that I'll provide to you guys. And then within that session, I want you guys to just write down which of the exercises are my primary, secondary, or auxiliary movements. And then at the end, what I want you to do is I want you to record or just write down which exercises are your bilateral and unilateral exercises. Okay. Based on my session, please make sure that you are not using the same examples that I've given you. Okay, I want you guys to find your own bilateral and unilateral exercises. Alright, I look forward to seeing what you guys have, and good luck.